Bendy the Cage is finally back. A teaser for it was recently released, and with it comes a much darker tone for the Bendy franchise than ever before. This game's story is going to be separate from the main Bendy trilogy. It takes place during Bendy and the Dark Revival. It's going to be a lot different, so let's jump into Bendy the Cage and explore everything we know about it so far. The Cage was originally teased 2 years ago, all the way back in October of 2023. It was then officially announced in 2024. However, on April 24th, 2025, it had been put on ice, frozen in time, waiting for the day it could thaw. The ideas and mechanics for the Cage were far too exciting for just a spin-off, so the devs decided to implement them into Bendy 3, also known as Bendy and the Ink Factory. In other words, the Cage's gameplay had to be moved to represent Bendy 3, while its story had just been shelved, saved for another time. So us fans waited while Bendy in the Cage was frozen, locked in the developer's freezer. Until October of this year, 2025, a new teaser video was teased on Twitter. The Cage had begun to thaw, and on Halloween, a brand new teaser finally dropped. Immediately took to Twitter to explain why Bendy the Cage was brought back. Put simply, it just deserved to be. The Cage has such a strange dystopian feel and dark personality that it demands to live on its own apart from the other Bendy games. It is truly unique and experimental for us, also fun. And in the end, we just said, why don't we just give the fans what they want and bring it back? So we did. This will not affect the intended timeline of Bendy and the Ink Factory. It's cool to know that the Cage won't affect Bendy 3, but what's most important from this tweet is, the Cage has such a strange dystopian feel and dark personality that it demands to live on its own apart from the other Bendy games. Like I said before, this game is going to be a lot different from any other Bendy game you've played. The Cage will be rated M for mature, meaning you can expect blood, gore, torture, and a much more mature theme presented in the game. It's going to be dark and twisted. The monsters we encounter are creations no man was ever meant to see. These are experiments gone wrong, set loose in the shadows. Immediately elaborated on this a bit with some info about the game's combat, stating, Bendy the Cage has a strong combat element. A lot of our time lately is being spent on making it robust and impactful. Dodge, parry, block, knockbacks, heavy hits, stomps. Also, we're creating new enemies that are a bit more, well, insane to deal with. This tells us the combat in the game is going to be something sort of new, but along with this new system comes much more insane enemies. All that being said, let's explore the finer details of Bendy the Cage. As you probably know by now, we are going to be playing as Henry. Our sanity will be tested as we take control of him in third person, meaning Bendy the Cage will be a third person game. I believe this will be the first third person game in the franchise. Now, I'm a little mixed on this. I love the idea of trying something new. However, I don't think third person is as effective as first person when it comes to horror. While in first person, the horror and tension is amplified because it's a lot more immersive. The camera is not hiding behind a body, your eyes are the camera. When something terrifying is in front of you, it's in your face. It makes the experience a lot more real. You are not just playing as the protagonist, you are the protagonist. The horror is happening to you. However, while in third person, like I said, the camera is hiding behind the player's body, giving you a sense of protection from the fear. It also feels like you're just controlling the person rather than being said person. But who knows, maybe the Cage is so terrifying that first or third person won't matter. Regardless, the choice of words here is interesting though. We take control of Henry. This could explain why the game is in third person. Maybe we are controlling Henry from somewhere else. But I'll talk about this more later in the video. Now, Henry is condemned to the prison, also known as the Pit. He must survive horrific inmates and mangle experiments that are set loose to devour him. A labyrinth of steel industrial dread laid before him as his mind is invaded by the past. So this game takes place inside the Pit, a prison location inside the ink machine. But I'm sure you know that by now. There has also been an emphasis on a warden character, which could be this, or maybe it's this fat dude in the teaser. Mike's words, not mine. But I think it's this monster instead, or he just got a redesign. Either way, this warden might be the main antagonist of the story. Since Henry is escaping the prison, I doubt the warden will just let him walk right out. So he probably released most of the other monsters to stop Henry on his journey to the top of the facility. We'll probably also learn about why these creations failed. Henry's main form of attack and defense will come from the well-known axe. Take on the darkness with your axe in brutal melee combat. Unleash fast and heavy strikes, block and parry incoming attacks, shove foes away, stomp on enemies with a vengeance, and time dodges to avoid being torn apart by the things that haunt you. Dive into the shadows for limited supplies as you embark on a twisted tale of Henry's self-discovery, while facing down new and familiar creatures of the Ink. Find the Maestro, that being Sammy Lawrence, escape the prison, and fight the madness. So like I mentioned before, the combat in this game is going to be a lot more detailed. Henry will be fighting for his life while he tries to escape. It seems like this game is taking a lot of inspiration from Resident Evil, and I'm all for it. Now let's dive into this teaser trailer and take a look at just how dark this game is going to be. It begins with the camera rotating, and we see a spiral on the wall in the back. A lot of this game's teasers have been centered around this spiral. I think it represents spiraling into madness, as all of these inmates have gone crazy. It sort of represents a hypnotic theme. Remain calm, everything is going to be just fine. This might be something Gent Corporation made to try and hypnotize the monsters into remaining calm, hence why we see it all over the marketing. But we don't really know much details about this spiral yet, so I'm just kinda guessing. The trailer then cuts to presumably one of the lost ones that has a saw-like trap on his face. The M rating for this game emphasizes torture, so this is clearly a torture device on the character. It's pretty dark stuff. We then see more of the remain calm footage that also includes a mouse cursor. This is an inside joke from the developers. Henry makes his way down the hall while the warden is watching from the camera. This is followed by more disturbing imagery and flashes, to then reveal the big fat guy Mike was talking about. The only features we can really make out here are his big mouth and teeth. He also has a chain, so maybe he's chained up or he uses it as a weapon. Like I said, this could be the warden, but I think it's just another enemy. We are then shown some kind of machine with the red human skeleton on it. Obviously, I have no idea what this is. Maybe it's a special lock only humans can use. This would make sense considering the monsters down here are made of ink, but I'm not sure, this could be anything. The next shot is of another monster. It's missing its jaw and has glowing yellow eyes. Again, this might be a twisted version of the Lost Ones. The trailer ends showing off Henry wearing a new mask with a light. This could be just that, a mask with a light to help see. However, I think this is something else. Remember how I mentioned we are controlling Henry? Well, this could be how we're doing so. This device allows us to take control of Henry and help him escape. Maybe it's even made by Gent, something to hypnotize him. But that's just my guess, I could be completely wrong. We will be fighting this madness in 2026 when the game releases. How do you guys feel about Bendy the Cage? Are you excited for it? What do you think all this imagery means? How are you feeling about the game being in third person? Do you prefer this over first person? Like I said, I'm kind of mixed on it, but I have played third person horror games that I really like, so I'm definitely optimistic about it. I mean, just look at Resident Evil. There are definitely ways to scare people in third person. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like horror game content like this, please consider subscribing. Also, I have a Discord server, so if you want to chat with me, I recommend joining. And if you want to support the channel more, you can become a member. Don't forget to follow my Twitter at TerrifyT. Thanks for watching.